So 𝗪cie just announced Dungeon and Fighter Duel. This kind of came out of nowhere, but it makes sense. The game looks cool. The graphics look phenomenal. It looks like it's running on the same engine that some of their more recent titles have been using. Now, I played a short stint of Dungeon Fighter Online, which is what this game is based on. I didn't play it for very long. The game is quite grindy. Not a fan of that kind of grind. It's also one of the reasons that I had avoided Granblue. But the thing that I noticed here is that 𝗪cie is displaying a pattern with the release of these games. With the release of Dragon Ball FighterZ, Granblue Fantasy Versus, and now DNF Duel, they're clearly looking for franchises or partnering with franchises that have pretty big followings. And not only pretty big followings, but followings in games with, and this doesn't necessarily include Dragon Ball, games with fan bases that keep coming back and back and back for more. Granblue Fantasy Versus has the potential to sell quite a bit of DLC, and this franchise, Dungeon Fighter Online or DNF Duel, could also follow the same pattern. This is going to be very lucrative for 𝗪cie. They're hitting all the right buttons here. They're making good decisions, and with the amount of artistic talent that 𝗪cie has backing these projects, it's kind of hard to fail. Having a variety of projects to diversify these franchises allows them not only some sort of financial freedom, it also allows them to experiment with these mechanics, which is very exciting because 𝗪cie is no stranger to sharing character mechanics between games. So things that we see in some of these newer titles could end up in other fighting games as well. When something works, they tend to recognize it and start to move it between their titles. And they've also become a lot better at listening to their communities, which adds quite a bit to the excitement. There's some mechanics that they showed off. It's not easy to deduce exactly what's happening, not without more footage. Now, I don't know a ton about Dungeon Fighter Online, but I do have a knack for identifying mechanics. So I'm going to take a look at this footage here, and we're going to see what we can figure out. So we've got what I imagine will be this game's Shoto character, performing a slash attack, which has a pretty high hitbox, it looks like, as it's hitting an airborne character, which then he's either performing some sort of Gatling cancel into a... I imagine this is a special just based on the effects, but 𝗪cie is so flashy with their effects that this could very easily be a normal. It has launching properties, and then you can clearly see here that during the recovery animation, he immediately switches with this white flash to something else, which could indicate some sort of cancel system akin to Roman canceling. He then uses a vacuum special that pulls the character back in and actually pulls her quite a distance from up in the air down back into the ground and goes back into what looks like a powered up version of that other attack. And this other character here performs either what looks like some kind of advancing special, which is then canceled into a jumping attack with that same white flash, which I'm starting to think, based on this, that this is just an indication of spending meter of some kind, which looks like an anti-air command throw. Oh god, that looks great. Look at that explosion. And then we've got 𝗨𝗏𝗵𝗁 here, doing Noel things. Once again, we see that same cancel animation. And then on this character here, we see the same cancel animation, but with a yellow effect near the end of it, which indicates to me that this has some different properties. Could be a late cancel, it could be an FRC style system. Either way, these animations look spectacular. This just looks so cool. This character reminds me so much of 𝗨𝗏, and the cinematics are just top notch. Very expressive character facial animations, tons of effects. Looks like there's some depth of field effect happening here too, and then the logo. So yeah, DNF Duel is looking pretty tight so far. They haven't shown much yet, but what they have shown looks like there's a lot of room for expression. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. As far as franchises are concerned, I can only imagine what sort of thing they're going to come out with next. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, as it very much helps let people know that my content is worth watching. And if you're interested in supporting this channel further, feel free to check out my Patreon. And as always, thanks for watching.